There are 5 luxury SUVs sitting on used car lots right now with heated leather seats, panoramic sunroofs, and premium sound systems that nobody is touching. And the reason nobody is touching them has nothing to do with reliability. It has everything to do with perception. I have been turning wrenches for over 2 decades, and I have watched something happen in the used car market that honestly makes me angry on your behalf. Buyers are out here spending $22,000 on a basic Toyota RAV4, while a 2013 Lexus with the same engine, more features, and better materials sits 3 spots down the lot for $13,500 with a price drop sticker on the windshield. That is not an exaggeration. That is just a regular Tuesday at any used car dealership in America. It is like choosing to date a cardboard box because you are afraid a supermodel might have high maintenance costs, even though the supermodel is actually a retired librarian who loves baking cookies. Here is what the market has not figured out yet. Depreciation does not care about quality. It cares about age, mileage, and brand perception. And right now, a handful of luxury SUVs have taken depreciation hits so severe that the gap between what they cost and what they are worth is genuinely embarrassing. Today, I am giving you 5 of them, all under $15,000, all with drivetrains I would personally put my family in. I am going deepest on number 1 because that one is the single best luxury SUV deal I have ever seen in the used market, and I have been watching this market for 22 years. Before we dive into these hidden gems, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and leave a comment below about which luxury tank you would park in your driveway. Your support keeps the garage detective hunting for deals instead of working on my neighbor's lawnmower. Lincoln MKX, 2011 to 2015. Most people walk right past this one, and I understand why. The Lincoln brand has spent the last decade being the punchline of luxury jokes. It is the car brand your grandfather buys when he wants to show the bingo hall he finally made it. But here is what people get wrong. The MKX is not really a Lincoln underneath. It is a Ford Edge with a $15,000 premium interior bolted on top. Same platform, same 3.7-liter naturally aspirated V6 producing 305 horsepower. Same proven 6-speed select shift automatic that Ford had refined for years before this thing rolled off the line. It is basically a luxury tank in a tuxedo. The difference is that Lincoln wrapped it in real leather, added active noise cancellation, included a THX-certified audio system, and gave it a softer, more planted ride tune. I had a customer last spring, a retired engineer, meticulous about maintenance. He brought in his 2013 MKX all-wheel drive with 111,000 miles. He had bought it 2 years earlier for $9,800. He wanted a 100,000-mile inspection. He wanted to know what was lurking, probably expecting a horror story that would cost more than his mortgage. I spent 2 hours going through that vehicle top to bottom. You know what I found? Front brake pads were at about 40%. Rear differential fluid had not been changed. That was it. Total cost to bring it up to perfect mechanical condition, $380. The 3.7-liter Cyclone V6 in these is naturally aspirated. No turbos to fail. It is timing chain driven. It does not have a belt interval. And Ford's 6-speed 60F50 transmission has millions of miles of real-world data backing up its durability. The common complaint is shift quality, sometimes clunky at low speeds, but that is a comfort issue, not a reliability issue. It is not broken, it is just grumpy before its morning coffee. Current market reality. A clean 2012 or 2013 Lincoln MKX all-wheel drive with under 90,000 miles is sitting between $9,000 and $13,000. That is a panoramic moon roof, heated and ventilated front seats, 20-way adjustable power seating, and a premium interior for less than what most people spend on a 10-year-old Honda Pilot that smells like spilled juice boxes and regret. Inspection checklist. Check the PTU, the power transfer unit on all-wheel drive models. It is a known weak point if the fluid has not been changed every 30,000 miles. Fluid is cheap. A neglected PTU is $1,200. Pull the dipstick and look for a milky or metallic consistency. If it looks like a chocolate milkshake, run away faster than a politician during an audit. Second, test the air suspension if it is equipped. Let the car sit overnight and check if one corner sags in the morning. Compressor replacement is $600 if it does. Third, look at the panoramic roof seals. Some models developed leak issues. Run your hand along the headliner near the roof edge and feel for moisture. It is a cosmetic fix, but definitely worth negotiating on. Cadillac SRX, 2010 to 2016. Before you click away because you saw a Cadillac badge and immediately thought of your Uncle Tony's oil leaks, hear me out. I know the Cadillac reputation, and I know the 2.8-liter turbocharged SRX had real issues. I am not recommending that one. In fact, if you buy the turbo version, do not call my shop. I am recommending something very specific. The 3.0-liter or 3.6-liter V6 SRX, and only those. The 3.6-liter LFX V6 in the 2013 to 2016 SRX is a completely different story. That engine powers the Camaro. It powers the ATS, the CTS, the Impala. General Motors put it in everything because it is actually excellent. It is like the Chuck Norris of engines. It just works and does not take any nonsense from anyone. Timing chain-driven, direct injection, 308 horsepower, and repair costs that shock people when they see how low they are. Here is the real selling point. The manufacturer's suggested retail price on a loaded 2014 SRX was $52,000. Today, that same vehicle with 85,000 miles sells for $10,500 to $13,500. That is $38,000 in depreciation on a vehicle that still has the Bose audio system, ventilated seats, navigation, and a premium interior that people will assume you spent $30,000 on. You will look like a high roller while paying used Corolla money. I personally inspected an SRX Premium Collection last fall, a 2014 with 79,000 miles. Every luxury feature turned on. The buyer paid $11,200. She asked me if she had been ripped off. I told her she basically robbed the dealership and should probably keep the car hidden for a few weeks. Known issues to watch for. Some LFX engines developed timing chain stretch earlier than expected, typically after 90,000 miles if oil changes were irregular. If the previous owner treated oil changes like a suggestion rather than a rule, you might have a problem. Listen for a rattling noise on cold starts. That is your warning. Timing chain service runs about $1,200. If it does not rattle on a cold start, you are fine. Second, the sunroof drain tubes on some models clog and leak into the interior. Pop the headliner at the A-pillar and look for water staining. It is an easy fix if you catch it early. Just blow out the tubes with compressed air. It is like giving the car a sinus flush. Who this is for? Someone who wants the feel of driving a $50,000 luxury SUV and does not need to impress anyone with a badge. Inside, this thing is nicer than half the crossovers people are buying new today for 3 times the price. Infiniti QX70 FX35, 2009 to 2013. This one is the best kept secret in the entire used luxury market. Nobody talks about it, and that is baffling to me because the people who own them refuse to sell them. It is like a secret society where the entry fee is just knowing which buttons to press on Craigslist. The QX70, sold as the FX35 and FX37 before 2014, is built on Nissan's FM platform, the same rear-wheel drive-based platform that underpins the 370Z. This is a sports car chassis wearing a luxury SUV body. It is basically a track star in a tailored suit that still has room for a Costco run. The engines that power it, the VQ35DE and VQ37VHR V6 engines, are arguably Nissan's most celebrated V6 engines. Ward's Auto gave the VQ engine a spot on their 10 best engines list for 10 consecutive years. 10 years in a row. That is a better streak than most Hollywood marriages. The VQ37 produces 325 horsepower naturally aspirated. There is no turbo, no hybrid complexity, and no CVT to ruin your afternoon. It is paired with a 7-speed automatic transmission that has proven itself reliable across hundreds of thousands of real-world miles. I had a customer 2 years ago who came in to get a pre-purchase inspection on a 2010 FX35 all-wheel drive. He found it for $9,800, 112,000 miles, one owner, full service history. He was nervous because the mileage was over 100,000. I put it up on the lift and told him what I was looking at. The vehicle had been maintained, had tight suspension components, and showed zero evidence of abuse. It was the most honest inspection I had done that month. He bought it. 6 months later, he texted me a photo from a road trip to Colorado. Still running, still loving it, probably still laughing at people paying $500 a month for a base model Sentra. Current pricing for a 2010 to 2013 FX35 all-wheel drive with 90,000 to 120,000 miles is landing between $9,000 and $14,500. For that money, you are getting one of the most engaging luxury SUV driving experiences ever engineered. This thing does not drive like an SUV. It drives like a sports sedan that someone stretched upward. What to inspect? The VQ35 in the 2009 and 2010 models can consume a small amount of oil. Check the level and look for blue smoke on cold start. If it looks like a smoke machine at a bad 80s disco, move on. Not universal, but worth checking. Second, listen for clunking from the rear suspension on rough roads. The rear differential bushings wear on high mileage examples. Budget $400 if they are soft. Third, check the navigation and infotainment systems. The older generation Infiniti systems can have hard drive failures. Not a deal breaker, but factor in $300 for an aftermarket unit if it is glitching. Who this is for? Anyone who actually wants to enjoy driving and does not want their car to feel like a rolling toaster. Again, this is not an appliance. This is a machine. Acura MDX, 2010 to 2014. If the Lexus RX is the gold standard of reliable luxury SUV versus the Acura MDX is its overlooked Honda sibling that deserves the same conversation. And right now, it is $5,000 cheaper than the Lexus with comparable real-world reliability numbers. It is basically the same reliable athlete, just wearing a slightly different tracksuit. The MDX is built on Honda's platform, powered by Honda's J35, 3.5-liter V6, the same engine family that has been bulletproofing Odyssey minivans and pilots for 20 years. This engine is not exciting. It is not flashy. It is, however, the kind of engine that I have personally seen run 280,000 miles on a customer's pilot with nothing but oil changes and a prayer. And I have zero reason to believe the MDX version behaves differently. What makes the MDX special is what you get on top of that reliability. 3-row seating, super handling all-wheel drive, Honda's SHAWD system, which distributes torque left to right across the rear axle for better cornering. It makes a heavy SUV feel like it actually wants to turn, which is more than I can say for my brother-in-law after Thanksgiving dinner. An interior that was genuinely luxurious when new and still feels upscale today. The technology package models came with a full backup camera, lane departure warning, forward collision warning, and adaptive cruise control. Features that were premium in 2012 and still matter in daily driving when you are trying to avoid the guy texting and driving in the lane next to you. A family came to me last summer. 2 kids, third on the way, and a dog that thought he owned the house. They had $13,000 to spend and wanted something safe and reliable. The husband had his heart set on a Highlander because that is what everyone else buys. I told him to drive a 2013 MDX with 78,000 miles I had seen listed for $12,400 first, then make his decision. He called me the next day. He bought the MDX. His exact words were, "I did not know a $13,000 car could feel that nice." Current market pricing for a 2010 to 2014 Acura MDX all-wheel drive with 80,000 to 100,000 miles is selling for $10,500 to $14,500. The technology package trim, the one with the full suite of safety and navigation features, adds maybe $1,500 to the price and is worth every single dollar. Inspection checklist. The third row sees more abuse than any other part of a family SUV. Usually, it is a graveyard for French fries and crayons. Inspect it carefully. Worn or damaged third-row mechanisms are a $600 headache. Second, the 2010 to 2013 MDX had a known issue with the VCM, variable cylinder management system, causing engine misfires and oil consumption in some examples. The symptom is a slight vibration at highway speeds. This can be addressed with an aftermarket VCM disabler kit for about $80, but confirm it is not happening before you buy. Third, check all 3 rows of heated seats. Seat heater element failures are common on high-mileage examples. Inexpensive to fix, but easy to use as a negotiating chip to get the price down. Lexus RX 350, 2010 to 2015. This is the one. This is the SUV I recommend above everything else to anyone with $15,000 and the patience to find a clean example. It is the holy grail of used cars, the kind of vehicle that makes other car owners weep into their repair bills. Let me tell you something I have told 100 customers. The Lexus RX 350 is not a luxury SUV with Toyota reliability. It is a Toyota SUV with Lexus luxury. That distinction matters because while people pay an $8,000 to $10,000 premium to own the Lexus badge on a new vehicle, the used market has forgotten what is actually underneath that shiny L. It is like buying a designer suit but finding out the fabric was woven by mountain monks who never sleep. The 2GRF 3.5-liter V6 in the 2010 to 2015 RX 350 is the same engine family found in the Toyota Highlander, the Camry V6, and the Sienna. It is Toyota's most proven, most widespread, most indestructible V6 design. No turbo to blow up, no direct injection problems, and it is timing chain driven. I have serviced examples of this engine north of 300,000 miles that were running as cleanly as the day they left the factory. That is not marketing fluff. That is a mechanical reality I have witnessed with my own greasy hands. The 6-speed automatic transmission paired with this engine is equally bomb-proof. In my 22 years, I have never replaced one due to internal failure on a properly maintained RX 350. Not one. It is basically the refrigerator of the car world. It just stays cold and does its job until the sun burns out. Now, here is where the math becomes genuinely uncomfortable for people who bought German luxury at this price point. A 2012 Lexus RX 350, all-wheel drive, fully loaded with navigation, Mark Levinson audio, a panoramic roof, and heated seats, sells today for $11,000 to $14,500 with 80,000 to 100,000 miles. When that vehicle was new, the sticker price was $47,000. That is a $33,000 depreciation hit, and the vehicle still drives, rides, and looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. Compare that to a 2012 BMW X5 at the same price. I service both. The Lexus comes in for oil changes. The BMW comes in for oil changes, coolant system explosions, electric ghosts, air suspension failures, and a timing chain conversation that usually ends in tears. The annual maintenance gap is routinely $2,500 to $4,000. That is catastrophic math. It is like choosing between a pet rock and a pet tiger that eats your furniture. I had a customer 3 years ago, a school teacher. She had $13,000 and was leaning toward a BMW because it looked impressive in the faculty parking lot. I asked her one question. How important is it to you that your car actually starts on Tuesday morning? She bought the Lexus. She still calls my shop, but only for oil changes and brake pads. In 3 years and 41,000 miles, that is her entire history. Boring, maybe. But her bank account is thrilling. Detailed inspection checklist. First, check the vehicle identification number for any open recall on the dashboard. Some models in hot climates had a dashboard cracking issue. Lexus extended the coverage, so confirm it has been fixed. Second, listen for a ticking sound from the engine on cold starts. Some higher mileage examples develop VVTi gear wear. It sounds like a rapid tick for 20 seconds, then disappears. If it stays, walk away or negotiate $1,500 off. Third, test the navigation hard drive. Slow or glitchy screens are a $400 to $600 fix. Fourth, check the rear air suspension on fully loaded models. If the rear end is sagging like a tired bulldog after 30 minutes, the actuator is leaking. Fifth, look for a 1 or 2 owner example with a dealer service history. These cars attract owners who actually follow the manual. Find that person's car and you are winning at life. Who this is for? Anyone who wants to arrive in style and has zero anxiety about whether the car will start tomorrow. Long-distance commuters, families, or anyone who has ever written a massive check to a German dealership and hated themselves afterward. Final thoughts here is the reality of the used luxury SUV market right now. The window for these deals is not permanent. As more buyers figure out that a $13,000 Lexus and a $13,000 Mazda are not the same conversation, prices will correct. They always do. It is like a secret fishing spot. Once everyone knows where the big ones are biting, you are going to be fighting for a place to park your boat. I watched the same thing happen with the first-generation Acura TL in the early 2010s. People ignored it. It got cheap. Smart buyers snapped them up. And then values stabilized when the market finally caught on and realized they were essentially buying a bulletproof luxury couch on wheels. The 5 vehicles I gave you today are the Lincoln MKX, the Cadillac SRX with a 3.6 V6, the Infiniti QX70, the Acura MDX, and the Lexus RX 350. They are all sitting in that window right now, all under $15,000. All have drivetrains I would personally put my own family in without a second thought. All have depreciation curves that have nothing to do with reliability and everything to do with age and badge perception. You now know what the smart buyers know. Go find a clean one. Get it inspected by a mechanic who has no financial interest in the sale and drive it for the next 100,000 miles. Your bank account will thank you while everyone else is crying over their $600 monthly payments for a plastic economy car. If this helped you save some serious cash and stay out of the repair shop, hit subscribe to Garage Detective. I have more videos coming on exactly this. The vehicles that make sense versus the vehicles that dealers want you to buy so they can fund their next vacation. I am going to keep giving you the straight answer because that is all I know how to do. Leave a comment below if you have owned one of these legends or if you think I missed a hidden gem. Drive safe. Find the good deal. See you in the next one.